Hi, everyone. I'm Tish Looper, VP of Customer Success with Graph, and I would really like to welcome you to day 3 of Graph+AI Summit. I am really thrilled to be here today with Alaina Percival. She is the CEO and co-founder of Women Who Code. Alaina, thank you for joining me so much today. It's really exciting to be able to spend this time with you. But as we get started, I would love for you to introduce yourself and share your story.
Yeah, Trish, thank you. I'm honored to be here. As you mentioned, I'm Alaina Percival, CEO and co-founder of Women Who Code, the largest and most active community of diverse technologists in the world. And when I say we're the largest, we serve 290,000 members across 134 countries. And when I say we're the most active, we're putting on an average of 5 free technical events every single day throughout the year. So we are deeply dedicated to access, to creating momentum for our community. And then in addition to that, I am an angel investor and I'm a venture partner with Valor Ventures. And this year I started teaching Women Lead in Technology at Georgia State University.
Wow, that's really impressive. I'm really impressed with the fact that you guys lead 5 training sessions a day. That
Yes.
yeah, that is amazing. It really, truly is. And as we look at that, I also know that we've had the opportunity to partner with Women Who Code because they've been participating in our $1 Million Challenge that we're having here at Graph. And there has really been a great representation of women in the contest, that were representing their work and graph technology. And with this partnership too, as well, we've also had the opportunity to have a judge from Women Who Code. So that is really exciting to see that representation of women actually in our $1 Million Challenge.
Yeah, that's so exciting to hear. And I think it's amazing to hear that we had some big winners come potentially from the Women Who Code community. But I also just want to thank you for supporting us as a partner. The partnerships that Women Who Code has enables us to produce our programming for our members across the globe and to be able to really provide those events for free to our community, to really be dedicated to providing access to our community.
No, and that's really great because it is about, bringing women together and creating that community. And as we start looking at that community, can you give me a little information about, what is Women Who Code is doing to really help women leaders rise?
Yeah, so we're doing a couple of things. It's really a 3-part approach. We're helping to provide skills, create a sense of belonging, and building up role models. So through role modeling, there are so many incredibly talented, successful women in the industry. And when I think back to, as Women Who Code was getting started, I would see the media kind of pick up 3 to 5 women, and they were like the women in tech, and they were always the people who were quoted, always the people who were mentioned as the people who were like leaders in tech. But the reality is that there's thousands. And so Women Who Code, if you visit any of our social media pages, you will see talented individuals who are in companies, who are building technologies, leading teams, who are really innovators. And so putting forward people who are in the industry who our members have the ability to look up to and see a pathway to success, and in different pathways to success, because the path that you want to take might be entirely different from that someone else wants to take. It doesn't just look one way. But then we're also focused in on capacity building, so that skill building, and through skill building, it includes technical skills, but also we help to provide career and leadership resources. So for example, if you become a volunteer with Women Who Code, that's practice-based leadership. And since women are so often asked to demonstrate and already have a skill before they're considered for a promotion, having space to practice leadership is critical for women to make it to that first level of leadership.
It really is. And you've really mentioned a lot of things in that response. And we could, probably spend a lot more time unpacking all of that great wisdom that you shared. But one of the things that really sticks out to me that we've kind of brushed the surface on is talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion for women and how they can go ahead, they can learn the technology and get the appropriate training. And what I'm really seeing and hearing in women in technology is really that women want more professional development and training because they actually truly feel that when they get that training, that creates the equity opportunity for them. And when we look
Yeah.
at, yeah,
Sorry, go on.
no worries. As we look at that, how important is that really truly in that workplace to make sure that we're creating those opportunities for women?
Yeah, it's incredibly important. And in fact, Women Who Code just had a survey that we did of our community recently. And one of the main things that people were leaving their jobs for was for that career training and career development. And so your instinct in saying that it's important is absolutely true. And it's so true that people are willing to leave their jobs to find it elsewhere. So good news, if you're not getting it at your company, a place that you can get that is at Women Who Code. And so if you are thinking about technical development and continuing to grow in your technical learning, we have an event or dozens of events for you, and I guarantee you, if it's a reasonably relevant programming language, it's going to be we're going to be having an event coming up about it, or it'll be available already on our YouTube channel in an on-demand capacity. And so it is important as technology continues to evolve so quickly to continue to have like lifetime learning as a skill set when you're a technologist, because you are going to need to be learning new programming languages, new frameworks that you will actually be applying in the workforce regularly, as you're moving on in your career.
No, and that's great. And what I really love hearing is that you're meeting women where they're at and creating training, making it accessible to women, no matter where they're at, however they need to be able to access it, which is really fantastic and exciting. And as we look at that, and we start thinking about the training, what specific skills do you think women really need to be investing in today to prepare for themselves for that future advancement?
Yeah, that looks different depending on what your goals are. But what I recommend doing is take a little bit of time, think about what you want right now. So that might change in a couple of years, but think about what is the next promotion in your job. It doesn't matter if you're not ready for it at all yet. Think about what it is. I often will hear from people, oh, they don't even know what the next promotion is. Some people know, and they know exactly when they're planning to get it, but sit down and write that down. That's just step one. Now think about what's the promotion after that.
Yep.
Go ahead and write that down. And if you don't know what it is, you can ask your manager, you can ask your HR department, what is the promotion after that? And you need to start probably at that point thinking about what it is you want, because your options might be different. So it might not just be a band level, it might actually mean an entirely new skill set that you need to be adding. And So now that you have one, two, three, your next three promotions mapped out on a sheet of paper, um, talk to your HR team, talk to your manager. What skills and what are the milestones that they expect you to accomplish to be able to be promotion ready for each of those roles? And in doing this, start to work on the skills that you'll need, even if it's the one, three promotions from now. Start working on those skills now, because everything you're doing is leading up to that that third, fourth, and maybe even your 20th promotion. All of those skills build on themselves, and in doing this process, it also creates an opportunity for you to let your manager know what your goals are, because they might not have any idea that you're looking to get that promotion. And if you don't tell them, hey, this is what I want, they're very, it's likely that they might miss out considering you.
No, I agreed 100%. And I love that advice, because that is one area that I really like to focus on myself. Is I'm very futuristic. I'm always planning ahead. What is next? And as I'm thinking about that, it is really about what are those skills and how can I think about leveraging a new skill or learning a new skill to get me to that next career path. Where do I need to go? Taking that journey and stepping out myself. And I know it's really hard sometimes to be able to, start recruiting women in the technology, not necessarily seeing all the applicants, as I've been a hiring manager looking to hire sales engineers, data scientists, algorithm solution consultants. There's less than 5% of women that are really in these senior technical leadership roles. And why do we struggle with that? And what can we do that's different to get
Yeah.
more applicants and get, even better, qualified candidates that we can help escalate on their career journey into leadership, into tech leadership?
Yeah. So the most important thing that companies can be doing right now is investing in the incredible diverse talent that they have inside their organization, um, designing for inclusion, making sure that they have a clear pathway to stay and grow within the organization. And that is how we're going to be seeing that number chip away. But it takes designing for inclusion and systemic change across companies, across industry, to really see a shift in that number, because we can keep bringing more and more women into the industry, but if we don't retain them, then
Mhm.
we're just bringing more women into a broken industry.
Yeah, I really like the word that you use, designing inclusion. I love that, because as you think about it, you think that sometimes it's really hard for women to step up into being included into technology and within those groups. In the past, typically you've seen just a lot of women that have taken positions in marketing. And we need to find different ways to design inclusion so that they are exceeding and taking other opportunities and stepping up into that tech position.
Yeah. One of the things that you said stood out to me, and it's something that I hear pretty often at Women Who Code, is that you'll have an incredibly talented technologist on her career path, and she will demonstrate additional skills like understanding the product or being able to speak about it or encouraging people to join the team or project that she's on. And what she hears is, oh, have you thought about recruiting?
Yeah.
Have you thought about marketing? Have you thought about product management?
Yeah.
And while all of these things, all of those are fantastic careers, that's not the career path that she's currently on. And it's her male counterpart is not hearing that. They're hearing, oh, we should be considering you for a promotion. Oh, have you thought about going for the lead role on this team. And if she does divert off of her chosen career path, it represents a $1.7 million loss in lifetime earnings.
Wow. Wow. So what can we do then to change those biases?
Well, we need companies to be really educating their leadership, and uh, helping women to also know when it's the right time to put themselves forward for a promotion. Women will, because this is a cultural standard, women tend to ask for a promotion when they are really having all of the skills needed to perform in that promotion, whereas men will put themselves forward for a promotion when they have less than 50% of the skills. And so it's really important for companies to create a space where women are putting themselves forward a little bit sooner. And you can run the data to see, hey, are women only getting promoted once every 2.5 years, where male counterparts are getting promoted once every 2 years? You have an opportunity to design for inclusion if you see that data.
Yeah.
So this is something that we know, and it's something that companies can actually be designing for to overcome a cultural issue that exists.
So as we start looking at moving women into the chief technology officer, we also know that, it really starts with ensuring that we have a strong pipeline of women candidates for senior, technical leadership roles, whether it's considering people internally, externally. What can managers do to make sure that we're getting those candidates into our pipeline?
Yeah. So one, we need more women pursuing these types of executive leadership technical roles, and that really involves highlighting and role modeling the many women who are already in these roles. And so that's one of the things that we do. But for companies to get anytime you're recruiting a chief technology officer, that's a very difficult role to fill. And so if you want to be attracting the best diverse talent, it involves investing for the long term into the community and into women inside of your organization. It's not something that is going to happen overnight. It's something that companies need to have a commitment to doing, and it's imperative because right now the industry is demanding more engineers than the market has for supply. And so, if you can't let 50% of women leave the industry just because it's the easy thing to do right now to not fix things and not become a better industry. It's now that we need to be designing for inclusion, to have those good practices that retain women, that retain diverse people inside of your company, and develop them so that they will be ready to take on CTO and vice president of engineering roles.
Yeah, no, that's great, because as we know, there's a lot of tech companies out there, especially startups, that are very male dominated still to this day. And as we look at that, some of these companies though have it right. They're able to do it. They've been able to look at diversity, equity, inclusion. Can you give some advice with companies that have, as you look at it, kind of cracked the code of getting it right?
Yeah, so I was speaking to a woman who's a CTO of a major organization recently, And she had said to me, oh, Capital One has done a great job as this traditional organization, um, positioning themselves to attract talent and encourage diversity. And I actually said to her, they're one of our founding sponsors. They've been our sponsor for about 10 years at this point, and they haven't just invested in supporting women who could. They've invested in other communities, nurturing and supporting inclusion. And similar to what what you've done at Tiger Graph is bringing those communities into the programming that you're doing and engaging with the community, so that the work that you're doing is more inclusive and creates an authentic relationship that will attract the best diverse talent to your organization.
Well, no, this has been a really great conversation, and I appreciate all the advice that you've given on this. I'm excited to be able to come back and maybe listen to this at a later time myself and get some really key nuggets and some key takeaways. But as we close today, I really would like to ask you, what is one key takeaway that you would like everyone here to really take away from our discussion?
I'm so glad that you asked. So everyone here has been spending this time thinking about how to design for inclusion. And so I would love for everyone to think about what is something within your power, within your scope of ability to do something in the next 3 to 6 months that will either encourage your company to be more inclusive, will encourage your team, will be just for yourself, and act on it. Keep that with you.
I love that. I take that challenge on, and I'll go ahead and do that myself too as well. And once again, thank you, Alaina. It was such a pleasure to speak with you today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.